So we're here for a 2,000 points battle with Friedrich, the Foxlord of Vergessenwald, and his men of the Empire facing the Horde of Tzeentch. On the Empire side, you've got a unit of Pistoliers. You've got units Knights of the Inner Circle of the Prowling Fox with Captain Ludwig the Lost. Spearmen with an Empire Archer detachment. A level 1 Wizards. A Great Cannon. And then moving over to the left flank, we've got a unit of Crossbows with Axemen, who count as great swords, and their small detachment of halberdiers. A unit of Pistoliers on this flank, and the Foxlord himself valiantly hiding in the woods to see how things go. And then we've got a unit of Huntsmen in the woods. And Mr. Bain will take us through his army.
So we've got Chaos Knights of Tzeentch. They're not chosen, just normal. We've got 19 Marauders, hand, weapon, shield, light armour, and there's an Exalted Champion of Chaos there. That's the General of Tzeentch. Here we've got a Beast Lord of Tzeentch and a Beast Herd there. Another unit of Chaos Knights of Tzeentch. And then here we've got 7 Chaos Ogres with an Aspiring Champion who is the Battle Standard Bearer. And then 5 Furies and unpainted Hell Cannon here. So that's it. Excellent.
So, Empire won and opted to go first. We've got my knights who just moved out a bit. Pistoliers have come up to threaten the Hell Cannon. And everyone's just fanned out a little bit with the Pistoliers on the other flank also going around. And we've got the scouts, the huntsmen, who have just edged slightly the edge of the woods. Then, shooting phase. The cannon tried to take out the Hell Cannon, but the powder was damp, so it didn't fire. And that was pretty much it for the Empire turn. But then we can see that Tzeentch did some nasty things. So the army has come forwards, and apologies for the backlighting. The army's come forwards. We've got the knights being tentative because they're being march blocked in the next turn, and they've got the Pistoliers threatening their flanks. And again here we've got the other unit of knights come forwards, but not wanting to tempt fate too much with the Knights of the Inner Circle on the Empire side there. But the magic has done quite a bit of damage. We've got green flames, which meant that the great swords attacked themselves with 4 casualties, and the spearmen also attacked themselves and suffered 5 casualties. And then we've got a couple of huntsmen who were killed by blue flame, was it?
Yeah.
Blue fire,
unbelievably on a double one on the rolls to hit, so only 2 got hit.
And then final phase of the Tzeentch turn is that the Hell Cannon misfired, and one of the servants was sucked in by the backdraft and killed. So 1 fewer for me to deal with later. And it will be Empire turn 2. So Empire turn 2, and we forgot that the huntsmen in the woods needed to take a panic test. They've panicked and they've run all the way towards the edge of the table, not quite there yet.
Because they failed to rally as well.
Yeah. And then, so the archer detachment here decided to take on the Furies. They're successfully holding them off. They've killed 2 and lost one of their guys. But the Furies are staying in place. The Furies, though, have done their job, which was to stop this cannon shooting at that Hell Cannon, which is highly frustrating for Friedrich's men. So the cannon instead took a pot shot at the knights, didn't kill one. It went kaplonk right in front of the knights. But the Pistoliers here, a couple of them were within range, took a pot shot and killed a Chaos Knight over there.
Ugh.
So that's how things stand, and now it's...
Crossbowman killed that.
Oh, and the crossbowman, sorry, also killed an Ungor. What should I say, you know?
Every little helps.
Every little helps. So now it's Tzeentch turn 2. So we've just had Chaos turn 2, and quite a lot's happened. So the first thing that happened is that over here, after Friedrich, the Foxlord, landed among the ranks, there were panic tests galore, and the
Terror
tests galore, and the marauder units with the general fled through the forest, leaving the knights exposed, and they've just sort of wheeled around to expose their flank instead of their rear. So in for an uncomfortable time. But then the
start of the Chaos Magic phase, the general turned into a Chaos Spawn because he was fleeing at the start of the Chaos Magic phase, and that's what the Gaze of the Gods item does. So, no general now.
And more magic mayhem. We've got a load of great swords taken out by, I think it was Blue Flames this time. Yeah, Blue Fire this time. And then we had the Hell Cannon hit the Knights, and the Knights basically had to choose between voluntarily fleeing or taking the hit. And they took the punishments, and 4 valiant souls have now gone to meet their god.
And the Furies.
And then the Furies, obliterated, supported by the Chaos Knights, obliterated the small detachment of archers which had been there, and they've both overrun into the spearmen, and one very uncomfortable looking Wenceslas is just watching on as shit's going down. And I think that's pretty much covered the destruction for this turn.
Yeah.
So Empire turn 3.
Yeah.
So we've just had Empire turn 3, and I'll try and remember everything that happened. But basically, we had the Chaos Knights, and at this point I'm using clever technology to add in a photo. Chaos Knights have hit the spearmen from the front, and the Chaos Turkeys hit them from the sides, and then the
Empire Knights.
The Empire Knights hit the Chaos Knights in the flank. An almighty bust up, but the Empire Knights and Spearmen were victorious. The Chaos Turkeys disappeared back into the ether, and the Empire Knights ran down the Chaos Knights.
Yeah.
And then back over onto the video here, we've got...
so this was shooting.
Oh,
here.
yeah, so we had shooting here where the crossbowmen,
Killed
for the first
6.
time ever, did a decent job and killed 6 guys, which forced them to flee. And then Friedrich, the Foxlord of Vergessenwald, on Gary the Griffin, charge into the side of the Chaos Knights on the Empire's left flank, with the Pistoliers hitting them in the front, and absolutely slaughtered the Knights.
Down to the last man.
Down to the last man. So the Pistoliers chose to overrun, but didn't really get anywhere. And then over here, the Pistoliers attacked the Hell Cannon.
And the crew.
Killed the crew and inflicted 1 wound, but weren't wounded in return. And the Hell Cannon, for those who haven't faced it, is
Unbreakable.
Basically an unbreakable demon that fights back. So it's not like other war machines where when you kill the crew, that's the job done. And so there we go, and into Chaos turn 3.
Yeah. So the Chaos Ogres charged the Spearmen here, and the Spearmen failed their fear check, but only ran a couple of inches, and so were caught by the Ogres and run down. The Beast Herd rallied, but the Chaos Marauders didn't, and continued running towards the nearest table edge. The Spawn decided to move over here to help out the Hell Cannon, but the Hell Cannon didn't need any help in combat because the Pistoliers, at only strength 3 now, can't harm toughness 7. So it killed 3 and they ran, because outnumbered by a fear-causing enemy. And I think that's it. Oh, spells, sorry, yeah, over here, a blue fire wiped out the unit of Pistoliers.
Who had done so well in the previous turn.
Yeah. And Friedrich got hit by a red fire, but managed to save it.
So Empire turn 4, a slightly chaotic movement phase. I had to about face the crossbowmen and wheel them out of the way so the greatswords could come through. The cannon, which couldn't shoot, I moved back a bit, and Wenceslas is walking back as fast as he can, which isn't very fast, because you've got this threat coming through here. So Friedrich on Gary has come in support, and the Halberdier detachment's just moving forwards to deal with the threat which is here in the middle ground, which is absolutely empty, because Ludwig the Lost led the Knights of the Prowling Fox in a charge against the Beast Herd and obliterated them, thanks in part to having a certain magical item called Van Horstmann's Speculum, which allowed him to swap stats with the enemy Beast Lord. So things are looking pretty empty over on this side, but there is still a significant threat from some ogres over here.
Ooh.
So Chaos turn 5.
I've failed to rally here.
Yeah, failed to rally the Marauders, who ran off. We've got blue fire on the cannon, which it's got 3 6s on the cannon and managed to destroy it. Wenceslas breathed a sigh of relief as a spell was aimed at him but failed to hit him. And the Hell Cannon spewed Ica, on the Pistoliers, killing one and forcing the other to flee off the battlefield. So here's how the battlefield stands at the beginning of turn 6. So it was actually the beginning of turn 5, not turn 6, a moment ago. So we've basically got the Empire guys didn't really do much. The Knights are coming back. So are the archers who are over there. All that lot's dead, so ignore them. And the ogres and the Chaos Battle Standard Bearer absolutely obliterated the crossbowmen and ran them down, and are now picking on poor Wenceslas, who couldn't get out of the way fast enough.
And some axemen hit themselves with green fire.
With green fire, so a couple more of them died, but they passed their leadership test. So, final Empire turn, and the Fox Lord is pissed. So, the final phase of combat.
An interesting question to ask.
Some interesting questions. So, firstly, we had my knights who were in the middle didn't move as far as they really should have done to be safe, because they got caught up by both the Chaos Spawn and the Hell Cannon.
Both rolled 11.
All of the knights were killed. Only Captain Ludwig the Lost survived, and he got chased away, but he is still very much alive.
1 inch ahead of the spawn.
1 inch ahead of the spawn. And over here we had a very intense set of fights between the ogres, Friedrich and Gary the Griffin, and the Greatswords.
First important thing that happened was the sparring champion miscast on his turn and got the miscast result that he knew was automatically hit in combat.
So he was just lying there taking the punishment.
And unable to attack himself.
To attack himself, yeah. So, yes, it ended with the Chaos Ogres and BSB fleeing off the battlefield, getting run down not by Gary the Griffin, but by the lone Greatsword, which brings us on to the 2 questions. The first one was, we had an intense debate because
the ogre hit the unit.
The ogre hit the unit, and there was the question of who dies. Could I choose for the champion to die rather than the BSB?
The standard bearer, yeah.
The standard bearer. We end up rolling up for it, and the standard bearer stayed, because my argument was the sergeant isn't a character, so could elect to die to leave the colours, as a good colour sergeant would do, but the errata is a bit vague, because it stipulates, when asked the question, how do you kill a champion, it says that the champion would be the last man standing, but it doesn't specify that the person wanting the champion to die, if he owns that unit, can't let the champion die to keep the colours. So that's the first question. Should it definitely have been the champion who died? And if so, where does it say it in the rules?
Or should it have been the standard bear?
Or should it have been the standard bearer died? If so, where does it say it in the rules? And the other, which was the other interesting question that we had?
No, I think that was it.
That was it, was it?
Yeah.
Okay, so there we go. So these guys are dead, and that means that the battlefield at the end of it...
Yes, they're off, yeah. Move them over there, yeah.
Looks like this. We have 4 valiant archers in the woods. You can't see anything because it's too dark in the room now. We have a hell cannon without its crew. We have a chaos spawn and a fleeing Ludwig. We've got Friedrich, the Fox Lord of Vergessenwald, who's seen off his foes over here with his last axeman carrying the standards. We've got the cannon crew, but no cannon, which I've never seen happen before. And we've got 6 halberdiers. So we were asked to try out some special rules around carnage, and I think we've certainly delivered carnage.
Yes.
That's a pile of dead people.
You killed, in terms of units, you killed 2, 3, 4, 5 units. You've got 5 carnage points, and I've got 4. If I'd killed that one last axeman, it would have been a draw on carnage. Yeah.
So there we go.
So miscasting with that aspiring champion on the last round was definitely a game changer.
But it was definitely an extremely fun game, and now we probably need to work out the final victory points.
Yeah.
But, great fun.
Yeah. Oh, that should be quite easy for mine.